the future of work is today or yesterday, right? I do think that that's the reality and everybody needs to understand it, right? Like we've all got remote or distributed teams, if you will. So it's a matter of getting it right, like we know we're going to have team members across borders. So let's make sure that we've got the right infrastructure to make it happen. Again, compliantly, getting the payments right on time, right? And again, ensuring that the people on the receiving end, right, have a stable financial ecosystem to make the best out of their money.
Welcome, everyone, to Humans of Fintech, the show where we get very real about the people building the future of finance. I'm your host, Nicole Casperson. And today we are coming to you live from the Fintech Penthouse at Mandalay Bay during Fintech Meetup. And we are talking about what it really takes to build and scale global businesses. Because expanding beyond your home market isn't just a growth lever, it's regulation, infrastructure, trust, talent, compliance, and a whole new layer of complexity. It means navigating new rules, rethinking how your product actually works, and building the right partnerships, hiring talent, and earning customers' trust who don't really know you yet. Who here is growing global with their companies? I hope a few of you. All right, cool. Or interested. Raise your hand, you're interested in it. All right, I love it. I am joined by three people who sit at that intersection every single day. Please give it up for Rina Jariwala, Chief Operating Officer at Fundbox. Katy Ryan, Partner at Orrick. And Sergio Cordoba, Chief Acquisition Officer at Ontop. And really quick, just because this is an international panel, so we're going to keep it in. It's nighttime, and I've had this tequila thing, so we're going to keep it fun. Sergio, earlier you said, what is it in Spanish when you're surrounded by amazing women?
Blessed among women. Blessed.
It's in English. I love it. Yeah. Rina, I'm going to start with you. Fundbox is actively expanding into new markets, starting with Australia.
Yes.
Very exciting. When did you launch in Australia?
September of 21 we announced, and we started opening for business in January of 26.
Hey, okay. And you're now also looking, you've already expanded in Australia, now you're looking at Canada and the UK and a few markets. I talked to her. When you enter a new market, what surprised you the most?
When I think back to Australia, I was thinking the country, I was thinking, they've got a really sound GDP. They've got a really bustling economy. Their financial system is really strong. So the small businesses there probably don't have that much of a challenge when it comes to getting capital. On paper, all the boxes seem to check. But as we started talking to the small business owners, we realized how painful it was for each and every one of them to go and get access to capital. 2 out of 3 of them were going into the bank and coming out denied. And that's when it made me really realize what we see here in the US is happening in Australia. It's happening in UK. It's happening in Canada. Many of these small businesses are just having a really hard time getting access to capital.
It's an international global problem, right? And something that we see so clearly in the US, and even I've shared publicly my own stories with capital, right? And shout out to Stripe, who's also one of our partners for this, and for being a fintech platform, right, that is able to have founders like me get access to the capital that I need. So okay, give it up for that.
Stripe's actually who we got to go live with in Australia. So now they're powering all of Australia.
What are the chances? Oh my gosh, it's like I had a feeling. What did Australia force you to learn quick? What was unique about that market?
I would say that as we started getting into Australia, really understanding how the small businesses work there and how they're looking for access to capital. What matters to them most was making sure that the capital was in their platform, in their system, delivered to them through where their payments data and everything was. I think also learning how to get a capital stack in Australia. Here in the US, we had a history. We've got all these capital providers. They're ready to grow and scale with us. We're going into a new country, and now this new country is saying, prove to us how you can stand up here and what all you need from us. And so it really forced us to grow quickly, make sure that we've got the right product with the right fit, with the right market, and that we've got the right partners scaling us to help us grow.
Mm-hmm. yes, you can always count on a big growth challenge, like expanding to an international market to force growth in that way and force like an evolution in your business. I'm working on that myself. Sergio, from your seat, what do fintechs need to understand about the globalization and the future of work and in the world that you sit in at Ontop? Hiring, scaling, retaining talent across markets.
Perfect.
Not an easy feat.
I know. I think one of the key things is for all of us to understand that sure, there's compliance things that we need to make sure are taken care of,
There's a lawyer here to talk about.
right? But there's a lot of trust that needs to be built as well, right?
Yep.
So you may get the contracts right, you may get the compliance and the payments out correctly, right? But on the other side of that equation, in terms of a global workforce, we've got the uncertainty of international workers waiting for their money, right? So we gotta make sure that there's infrastructure to support that end-to-end value chain, if you will, from compliance to payments, and to actually making the most out of the money for those workers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, raise your hand if you work with, if you have some colleagues that are overseas, right? That are international. All right. Curious, shout out, where are they from? I'll start. Argentina. Cool. Anywhere? Ukraine,
Colombia.
Brazil. All right. Do you hear that? There you go.
Yeah.
There's your list. Katie,
Yes.
the lawyer of the gang.
Yeah, I'm sorry, everyone.
No.
I promise I'm fun.
We
Yeah.
need you. She's a fun lawyer. That's why she's here. She's not a regular lawyer. She's a fun lawyer. You work with companies at every stage of growth. In fact, you have been a founder yourself.
Yes. Yeah.
Love that. What's the biggest misconception founders have about regulation when they start thinking internationally?
That it is all going to be the same, that it's binary, and that there's a yes and a no answer to what you can and can't do. I think one of the biggest things we struggle with is whether you're going from the US to the UK or elsewhere or going into Australia. Turns out everybody's different, and you have to actually understand, within the US, like, love federalism, but like we have a federal and we have a state system, and having good counsel that can actually explain to you what the risks are, how to get it right, how to take good risks within the jurisdictions, but then to look at that in an international perspective. There's not just a yes or a no. There's going to be gray, and understanding how to deal with the gray in each of those jurisdictions is, critical to being able to scale.
Mm-hmm. There's this like copy and paste factor that I think people think. There was giggles to that. There's this copy and paste factor that I don't know if that like actually works anywhere in any capacity of anything.
Turns out no. So it's like I have my Australian policies and procedures. They should be fine. I'm like, turns out you kind of like you use different terms, right? Like
Absolutely.
and they don't mean the same thing in the U.S. as they mean somewhere else. So you have to actually be willing to put in the work. You're gonna have to put in some time. You're gonna have to put in some money in order to. Like conceptually, it is the same. You're bringing the same product in. However, you've got to be able to tweak it to the jurisdiction to where you're going and be willing to put that time in so that you're not kind of putting yourself actually at a disadvantage if you just try to, go out, grow just as you've been.
Right. Having good team behind you, essentially, to help you navigate the next best steps. I'm curious, Katie, like, is there a sweet spot for the founders here in the room who are interested in expanding into new markets? Is there like a sweet spot that, not legal advice, but if anyone has questions, now's the time.
Sweet spot in terms of
when to grow global, of like when to go into an international market. So is there like a moment, a thing that happened?
I feel like others have thoughts up here about like, the sweet spots, but I do think you have to think about the regulation and where you are within a certain time. I mean, like right now within the US, there are certain things going on that may make it advantageous to be able to grow in the US as compared to different timeframes. So you actually have to also be taking into account not just, is it the right time, but what does the actual market look like? What does the regulation look like? What does government look like? All of those things are important. And then what will it look like in a few years if it changes? I think that's the other component. So it can be a really good time to grow right now, as long as you're understanding and willing to kind of be ready for what change will mean in a few years.
Got it. Yeah, it's more about the timing, market timing. than necessarily like
Yep.
I raise a certain amount of money or like a certain thing happened. I launched a certain product, right? Okay, then
Yeah.
fine. Rina's got things to say about this. She's looking at me.
I have lots of
I
things.
was
Yeah,
like,
thanks.
yes.
All right. So you said something I keep thinking about, and you said it on the prep call, and you said it again today, and that it is no matter where you go, small businesses struggle to access capital.
Yeah.
Why have traditional financial institutions still not solved this well?
I think when I think about financial institutions, I think they've designed their systems around two main types of cohorts of individuals. One is your consumer. They've got the FICO score, they've got a W-2, and they're going in and looking for a couple $100,000 in money. And it's pretty easy process that's been going on for decades. Then on the other side, these large financial institutions are really set up to support commercial institutions. These are months long transactions. You've got relationship bankers, you've got manual underwriters, you've got a lot of paper going back and forth, and it's super intense. But when that transaction is done, a lot of money is being transferred in hands and a lot of money is being made by those financial institutions. Very complex. And then you have the SMB in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they have the profile of the consumer looking for a couple $100,000, but they have the complexity of the commercial underwriting. And when you think about that, they might be looking to get $10,000, $20,000, but when it costs about $3,000 to underwrite a file, it doesn't make sense to be able to support the SMB through the financial institution. And I think that's why you're starting to see a lot of these fintechs coming in that are able to use data and automation and be able to really support these SMBs with a really quick type of underwriting that's thorough, it's compliant, it's got all the right checks in place,
Sure.
but it's able to deliver for the SMBs.
Mm-hmm. I mean, thank you for clearing that up. Yeah, no, like I said, I've been honest about some of the instances even me as a business have seen or, and it didn't necessarily matter if, I checked all the boxes for some reason. There's like some hidden secret that is not, I don't know, right? That isn't allowed or what have you. And luckily Rina has let us in on some of those and let me know. But thank goodness for fintechs, right, that are able to do this. And it's a part of why I love covering this space. Sergio, you're helping companies hire and pay globally, but also helping workers make the most of that money once it lands. Why has scaling talent across borders historically been so fragmented?
Right. Truly is because it was never designed to be an end-to-end experience, if you will. The way that we see it is HR was built for the employer, contracts for the lawyers, right? Payroll for the accountant at the end of the day, right? And when you think about it, talents was, and the international worker was just left with whatever was left, right? Like, sure, we'll send you a wire transfer and we'll hopefully get to you, right? So that's what we need, right? We actually need infrastructure that allows all those points, right, to join forces, right, and make the most out of that worker experience. So that's exactly what we're doing at Ontop. We combine the compliance piece, the payment fee, and of course, the actual financial ecosystem for the worker to thrive wherever they are.
Well, and I think that, I would love to see, some of the community here, get to talk to you and talk more about that because exactly to your point, right? How are we going to build a global economy that is better for everyone, right? If we're not kind of factoring all of the things
Right.
and then working together as a community to build together on that. So I love it. What do you think companies just underestimate though about this payment experience from the worker side?
From the worker side, okay. I really do think companies underestimate how personal it is. Actually, like if you think about it, at the end of the day, it's not just a line item, right? People rely on that money to get to wherever it needs to get to pay their rent, right? So it's still their a livelihood and a financial stability, if you will, as well. In terms of building financial history in their home country too, right? No documentation as to why that money arrived in that account, right? Or why it arrived on my brother's account instead of my account for me to go and get a mortgage, right? So I think that's what's being underestimated this day and age, if you will, with international talent and getting it right.
Yeah, right. Like I do feel personally attacked by the payment gods when when the
We're in
invoice
this room.
says it's going to, no, I'm just kidding. When the invoice says it's paid X and doesn't, right? Those little things. We've all felt it, right? No matter what. It's that trust element that you're speaking
100%.
to, and how, honestly, I've been doing podcasts and things this entire Fintech Meetup. This is number 7. Woo woo, welcome guys. You're my closer, you're my show. Thank you.
Wow.
And in 2 days, and this element of trust is coming up every single time.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hey listeners, I want to take a moment to tell you all about the Academy of Fintech, our private membership community here at Fintech is Femme. Now, I built the Academy for founders, operators, investors, and leaders who don't want to just keep up with fintech, but want to help shape where it's going next. Leaders who want real influence and to build in community as we build our legacies. Now, membership includes a private Slack community, monthly virtual salons and masterclasses, plus exclusive fireside chats with industry leaders. Now, that's over 40 virtual lessons that you can access to build your career and influence. Plus, our members receive early access to in-person events, including the FEMI Awards and New York FinTech Week summits, including our crowd favorite, the Fintech is Femme Leadership Summit, which is also in San Francisco. But the real value is truly the rooms, the relationships, the people. Most of my success has come from building with ecosystem partners and the kind of proximity that turns conversations into real opportunity, real deal flow, real pipeline. And I want to bring that access to you. Now, leaders from Stripe and MasterCard and so many other iconic fintech brands are already inside the Academy. So, if you're looking for a place that's thoughtful, high signal, and built for people actually doing the work, memberships are now open. You can learn more and apply at fintechisfemme.co. Just scroll and click on our community tab and you'll learn all about the Academy of Fintech. All right, let's get back to the show.
Katie. Yep. We've talked about legal being a lever for growth, not a blocker. What does that actually mean in practical terms for a founder entering a new market? And maybe we can weave in some trust in there.
Yeah, no, I mean, so having good advisors and having folks that you can trust, and also looking for regulatory counsel and just counsel who is trying to get you to the yes, but, right? I mean, I think that a lot of times we're viewed as a blocker because you anticipate you're going to ask and we're going to say, no, you can't. Like, sometimes we're going to say, no, you can't because we don't want you to be in an orange jumpsuit. Like, we should really tell you those things. However, the rest of it we've talked about is like this, there's an element of gray, and being able to say, yes, but you need to think about these additional things. Like, yes, but you have to think about the consumer protection portion, because you're exactly right. The employee who doesn't get their money is going to go to their regulator and complain immediately. And if you haven't thought about your compliance and the structure up front, you're putting the business, you're putting the business that you're working really hard to build at risk. And these are all things that if you kind of have the right folks in place, you can learn about, you can understand your business risk, and then you can decide how you want to do that for your business. Because like, as a lawyer, I'm here to advise you and to tell you, I'm here to tell you what the risks are so that you can make good decisions about your business.
Period.
An enabler.
Yeah.
Did you have a question?
No, I was just saying that I mean, I was just telling Katie earlier that like a lawyer and a sales guy at the end of the day, right?
It's who you need in your corner.
Yeah,
exactly. No, and I do want to I make a little shout out to our a chief of legal at Ontop. She's an enabler. Like she's a friend, right?
Yeah.
And she comes up with the risks, right? But she finds way to make things work so we can keep growing, right? And help other companies like you guys keep reaching those objectives with international talent and breaking those borders. So for sure.
Thank you. I know. I don't get this love very often. People call me and they're not smiling. I smile.
No.
Compliance is your friend.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
I'm on a mission to help our industry better understand that compliance is our friend. All right, I know. No orange jumpsuits, right?
That's
Can I
right.
get a
No
woo-woo
orange
for no orange
jumpsuits.
jumpsuits? Woo-woo. I know. Okay, I have a question for all three of you. What is one decision a company can make early that dramatically improves its odds of scaling well across markets? Rina, start with you.
You know, building on what Katie said, it's not a one size fits all. What you do in the US is going to work in the next global geography that you go to. That said, I think that companies that are really good at scaling in multiple geographies are the ones that can take the core of their product and take it to another market and tweak it to be able to meet the regulatory landscape or the legal landscape of that geography. But if you find yourself going into country after country and completely creating a brand new product, it's going to be really hard to scale over time. I would say for Fundbox, we're lucky enough that we've got multiple products on our shelf that when we go into geography, we figure out, okay, in this geography, we'll do revenue based. In this one, we're going to do a line of credit. Here, we're going to do a term loan. And it's because we've built all of those back home. And I think the second thing I would say is that once you start scaling in one geography, it might take you 6, 9, 12 months to do it. The next time around, when you start to scale to your next geography, if it's a shorter timeline, you know that you've started to create a playbook that is scalable.
Yeah. Thank you. Period. Okay. Same question. Sergio, what's one decision a company can make early that dramatically improves its odds of scaling well across markets?
You know what? I think it's like choose what you want to own, right? And then like hyper fixate on that, and then choose who you want, like if you want a partner to take you into specific markets or to complete a specific objective within your business. But like if you start duct taping this process or that go to market action, it's just, in my opinion, it's going to be dead at the end of the day, like a technical debt that you try to build up from scratch, and it's not your core, right? So focus on when you do good, what you do well, and just partner with the right people to make things happen. I think that's one key thing.
Simplicity. I love it. All right. Same question, Katie.
So I'm going to go a little with structure because I think thinking about structure early can actually save you a lot down the line. We spend a lot of time with very successful large companies that didn't think about it quite as much because it's like, it's like, we're just going to be, we'll just have a level structure and we'll all make up whatever title we're going to have because we're fintechs and that's what we do. And we're not really going to think about like holding companies or different things. And I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but a little bit of forethought on it is pretty helpful because one, your agreements end up where you would like your agreements to end up and you're not going to have to change those in the future. And your tech ends up in one place versus where your licenses may be, so that you're just thinking a little in advance on the structure. It can all be fixed and handled, but it will require lawyer fees in order to do that. And a little forethought can really make a huge difference.
I know, thinking 5 steps ahead. I know, not our strength. Guilty. I know you guys. Okay. Let's zoom out, right? We're in a more complex environment now. You said it. More scrutiny, more competition, more pressure to be efficient. So what does this new playbook really look like? And Rina, I want to start with you. As you think about the next chapter of the global SMB economy, where do you see the biggest opportunity just hiding in plain sight right now?
So this one is super personal to me. I think I've shared with you in our prep call, I am a small business owner, have been in small business space for about 25 years now. And I will tell you that I really think that the opportunity at hand is, if I look at the global economy, more than half of the workforce is part of the SMB space, right? Like they're all part of SMBs. And I think that there's a really big opportunity to do a lot more financial accuracy and financial literacy. And with the tools like AI and things like that, the opportunity in plain sight is really, how do we use AI? How do we use these tools to help these small businesses learn about the tools, the lenders, the products that they could get access to instead of using their piggy bank to be able to fund their small businesses?
Round of applause. Sergio, you're next. How much of the future of work is really about this borderless talent, and how much is about building the financial rails to support that shift as we look ahead?
Right. So the way that I like to put it is the future of work is today or yesterday, right? I do think that that's the reality, and everybody needs to understand it, right? Like we've all got remote or distributed teams, if you will. So it's a matter of getting it right, like we know we're going to have team members across borders. So let's make sure that we've got the right infrastructure to make it happen. Again, compliantly, getting the payments right on time, right? And again, ensuring that the people on the receiving end, right, have a stable financial system to make the best out of their money.
Yeah. And go ahead. Oh, sorry. I thought
Oh,
you
no,
were gonna.
I'm good. Yeah.
May I actually lean into the mic? I was like, legal advice. Okay. Okay. I'm just kidding. Okay, Katie, you mentioned that investors are getting much more sophisticated around compliance and risk. At least you've mentioned that to me at some point. How is that changing the expectations for fintechs from day one?
Yeah, no, it's a great question.
Thank you.
We get brought in a lot earlier than we used to around regulatory diligence. So it used to be, oh, we're closing tomorrow. Hey, can you take a look at this and make sure that there's not any regulatory risk or anything that we need to be concerned about? And those weren't fun things because it's not a really quick review. Investors are bringing us in at the start to ensure that they have good regulatory counsel, that are identifying the risks, really putting the companies through understanding what their risk strategy is. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I don't want anyone in here to think that oh, well, if I don't have licenses or if I was told this portion and I haven't done it, that I'm going to then be at a disadvantage. What investors really want to know is that you've thought about it, you've talked to people who know about it, and that you have a strategy around how you're operating and why you're operating, and that you can actually then articulate what risks may be there. I think it's a differentiator because right now there's a feel of, well, we don't have the federal government, like CFPB has been kind of really neutered. We don't have the same, the same potential regulatory focus. It's not really true. It's actually coming from investors, and it can come from your banks too.
Exactly.
Yep.
No, really well said, right? It's like at the end of the day, there's so many different pieces, and just, don't get distracted by the noise, I would say. And the pendulum is always going to swing back.
Absolutely.
And if anything, exactly, your investors and the people and the banks, right, that you're partnering with, right? Rick knows what I'm talking about.
That's what they're looking for, right?
Yeah.
Because they actually understand, because they've gotten hit by it now, of once it swings back, what's that going to look like? How are we protected on that? And the more you put into it, the less you're going to have within an indemnification, or that there's going to be set aside that you're not going to get payout from because you got to hold it back for 18 months, 3 years, whatever the hold will be. So it's money in your pocket to pay a little more upfront.
I'm sorry. This made me think my dad has a saying. Who else holds on to their dad's isms? Me. And it's he says it only costs 100% more to go first class. So there you go. Right. Anyway. Okay. Are you guys ready for some rapid fire questions?
Most
do it.
Okay.
Right.
Each of you, just first thing that comes to mind, we will go down the line and we will start with Rina. One global market you think is underestimated right now?
Canada.
Are you going to say that too? You have to say a different answer.
No,
Okay.
I'll say something else.
Okay, good.
Yeah, mine's going to shift at the end. So.
Oh my God, the teasers. Okay, one global market you think is underestimated right now, Sergio.
Latin America for sure.
Oh man, that's
I'm
mine.
in Canada,
you
but
know,
I've
I'll
got
hit you first so it gets more even.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. I agree.
Latin
Okay.
America. Yeah.
Latin America, done.
Yep.
All right, fine. You know what? You can start.
Okay.
One thing companies overcomplicate about global expansion.
All right, now I'm going to say structure. So I said it's really important, but they overcomplicate structure. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to put some mind and thought around it.
Just think ahead just a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit. Make all our lives easier. Okay. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
You're not out of here. One
Oh my
thing
God.
companies overcomplicate about global expansion.
I was going to say compliance actually, because with the right advice, right, you can get things moving, right? And again, going back to that technical debt or that process debt that you're going to have down the road, just get it right.
I'm so
right?
proud.
Look what you've done.
Right?
I know.
No,
Influence.
but, and it's better done than perfect at the end of the day,
Yeah.
right? So get it started, get it going, and then
Done.
up from there.
Done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Rina, same question.
I'm going to say the product. I think they try to go out with every bell and whistle when they start. Instead, get out there, try something, and then iterate over time.
So, all right, we're going to start with you again. One thing they underinvest in.
Compliance.
Blah! Yes! Are you on this
It's-
compliance?
Actually, I will tell you, we learned, I wanted to say, Katie, every country we go in, that is the first call we make.
Yeah.
We make it to our lawyers to say, what do we need to know about this market? What are the constraints? What do we need to, and then we design our product based on what comes back.
Oh, I love it. It's great.
Wow, look at what's happening. Okay, what have you done, Katie? Okay, I'm going to skip the biggest myth about compliance because I think we've run through that. Most important quality in a global partner. Katie, I'll throw you.
Judgment. I
Ooh.
think looking for partners that have good judgment and that you can feel confident in how they're viewing and how it fits with your own goals.
Well said. Sergio?
Proof, right?
Mm.
At the end of the day, you want to make sure you partner up with somebody that's done it before, right? That's key.
Credibility.
Yep.
Rina?
I'm going to say a partner that's really going to be riding alongside you to help make the launch successful.
Oh, so
Mm.
true. At the end of the day, this is an industry built on relationships, right?
Trust.
And we, of course, have to be transactional because that's what we do. But there's a relationship in that transaction to all of your points, right? And that is how you build trust. And so I'm excited about this all coming to fruition in this community. All right, last question, and then we're back to drinking. What's a hill you'll die on when it comes to scaling globally? Bonus points if you say something you haven't said
Oh, damn it.
yet, Katie.
Oh, sorry. Can I curse? I'm sorry.
Do you wanna go
know
last?
What's going on? No, because you told me I have to say it quickly, and I've already said it. But you can't copy paste. I'm sorry. That was mine. I know.
All right,
I've
fine.
ruined it.
A for effort.
What was the question again? Oh, the hill,
A hill
I'll
you'll
on.
die on when it comes to scaling globally.
Can I go again?
Yeah, yeah.
So going back to my one yesterday, it's still the same. That I think it's like I'll die on it's the people. It's like having the right
Yeah.
people, having the right people on the bus, and having the right advisors.
I'm gonna go back to like it's better done than perfect at the end of the day, right? As just to get things going, just get it moving, right? Try things out. You'll figure it out along the way with some good foundation, right?
80
Just go.
20.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh God, time is money, ain't it? Okay. Rina.
You know what I'm going to say? Stick to your mission, your vision, and your values. And by that, I mean, don't go into every geography and try to adopt and become a chameleon, forget what your core is. Stick to your mission, vision, and values, and then launch that globally.
So well said. Guys, thank you for joining me in my home in Vegas, my home away from home in Vegas. Love that for me. In the Fintech Penthouse, live episode of Humans of Fintech with our live audience of people from one more time, just all at once. Yell where you are from. Ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Now.
South Carolina.
All right, that's what I'm talking about. Guys, I always say that the thing that makes me so excited about the future of fintech and our community is that, look, at the end of the day, the opposite of the old boys club is not the all girls club. It is an entirely different room. And for me, it is a room that looks like this. I love seeing this together. I love seeing us come together. And thank you so much. And I'm excited to see more of the bank partnerships, more of the collaborations that come to fruition because of moments like this. So another round of applause, please. Please join me in welcoming Rina from Fundbox, Sergio from Ontop, and Katy from Orrick for their insight. Thank you so much. This evening would not be possible without them as our co-hosts of the evening. This is their penthouse too, by the way. That's why they're up here with me. And so, ask if you have any questions about the penthouse, ask them, okay? And I also want to be sure to shout out our partners, Scale X, Angelique Strauss in the house. There she is. All right, not possible without Angelique. All right, I'm Nicole Casperson. Please drink all the tequila. Good night.
Good job. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Humans of Fintech. If you loved this and want to hear more from leaders across the fintech industry, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. That is Fintech is Femme. And be sure to sign up for the Fintech is Femme newsletter, which you can do at fintechisfemme.co. See you next time.